We've got Mr. Justin Stanley, his wife Rachel also here. Thank you very much for your time. And when I say this, he is the current headmaster, he's also our headmaster. So it's great to be able to speak with him on stage. Without further ado, Mr. Justin Stanley.
Right, here goes.
Here you go. I've been speaking to Mr. Stanley throughout the evening. There's a degree of excitement and willing.
And apprehension.
And apprehension. Yeah. There's no need to be, but I did think, just to try and ease the nerves, to settle you in a little bit perhaps, even though this is your domain, we've got a bit of a quiz, ladies and gents. It's called a hot seat. We'll try and make it like a bit of a quiz show. Okay. So what I thought we'd do, I know you're into your second tenure now as a cod head, as an honorary cod head, a person of Hull. This is now your domain, albeit in Beverley. Well played with that. I'm going to ask you 5 statements that I'd like you to try and interpret in your way as an understanding of what people from Hull might well be talking about. People in the crowd will know this, but please don't shout out until Mr. Stanley perhaps doesn't know the answer, but we'll see how you go with it. So this is Justin's hello, welcome. See what I did there? Excellent. So if I were to say to you, it's mafted in here, what would you think that means?
It's cold.
Oh.
It's hot. It's hot. It's very warm.
It's hot in here.
Right,
it's hot in here. The general disappointment actually caught me off guard there. I didn't think we'd have that.
Should we finish this now, Rob?
Second one, bit easier this one. There might actually be a cultural reference. You'll probably know more than I on this. Are you larking? Are you larking?
Are you messing around taking the mickey out of me? Or
well, there's a slight groan there. Actually half right. Anne Phillips? What is it? Are you playing out? Are you playing out? You're coming to play. Sadly, probably not said that much now. Probably some sort of e-invite. Giza Croggy.
Oh, that's a ride on the front of a bike.
Oh, well done. Excellent.
I've learned that from my 16-year-old son, actually.
That's even better to hear. Fantastic.
Yeah. He was told off by Paul Cook for being seen taking a croggy from Paragon Station to training last weekend. So there you go.
Well, I can promise you this.
I haven't done one like that before just now. So there you go.
There are enough people in this room with dirt on Paul Cook all day long. So if you did want to speak to anyone, I'm sure they'll happily sort that one out. This is a bit more niche, this one. I loved this one when I was younger. Do you want a chuffy badge?
I thought this was a family evening tonight, Rob. Are you sure?
A chuffy badge?
No, sorry.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. Anyone? If someone was boasting, you'd say, all right, mate, you want a chuffy badge?
Okay.
It's to suggest that there should be a bit more.
That well known out there, is it?
Well, come on.
Is that fair to say? Or?
There's not enough HU9s here, that's why. HU3? Yeah. Too many holders. And last one now, and this is probably quite pertinent for you in your tenure. I'm twagging.
Rob, are you skiving again?
There, well done. Well done with that.
I must admit, I was tipped off there.
No, we tipped you off. Well, that was fantastic effort. Good effort for someone so recently into Hull, but good to know you got a grip of the parlance. Who came up with the idea of having a radio station of 96.9 in Hull. Not a good idea, but hopefully you can understand that one well enough as well. So I think, firstly, just to say thank you very much for your time and presence here. The last time you were here, I thought you spoke with brilliant engagement. You had the room in your hand. Might well have been because it was just after Head of the Eagle. But either way, it was fantastic.
I was his warm-up man, actually, if you remember.
Well, it was fantastic received, but got to say, how has it been since that day?
Well, a lot's happened. A lot of water's flown under the bridge, but it's only confirmed for me what a great school Heimers is. And yeah, we didn't see a pandemic coming, but here we are. I've learned a lot about the school community, about the Heimerian community in the last 18 months or so. And it's a wonderful place to be. And I feel only all the more privileged to be head of this great school, I've got to say.
Well, there we go. Round of applause for that one, I think. Rightly. And you mentioned it, we're here obviously, the Old Heimerians in particular. Now, it's only possibly when you leave the school, when you go to different environments and realise how strong of a bond not only this school is, but this area and region really is. What is it, do you think, that the Old Heimerians is about? What do you see as someone with fresh eyes witnessing it?
What I genuinely do experience from the Old Heimerians affection and loyalty towards this great school. And everyone I've met, in whatever field they've gone into, has gone out and done great things, and almost invariably, perhaps I've only met a certain type, they seem to be doing good things and giving back and doing very socially responsible things and making their communities a better place. And a guy like John Gosnell, who Emily mentioned earlier, is perhaps the epitome of the old Highmerian community. But the strength of attachment and loyalty to this school, I genuinely think is remarkable.
Well, the name's synonymous with that. I think, Emily reiterated before about just how important the bursary is, and John Hymer's fund is all about that inclusivity. It's about giving people the education from an area that is seen as deprived at times. And how do you see that as being impactful in this school?
Well, it's very clear that wide access is part of the DNA of Hymer's, isn't it? Going back to what Emily said about the founding mission of the school. And of course, for much of the second half of the 20th century, it was a school where a large number of the pupils were on direct grant places, government direct grant places, or assisted places. And they finished in 1997, and the bursary scheme is all about regenerating those places so that bright pupils from the local area can attend this great school. Bright pupils of intelligence. And as Emily said earlier, every single year we have to turn down about 25 pupils who pass our entrance exam, but unfortunately we can't fund that place at the school. And so the bursary scheme is integral to the type of school we want to be educating the brightest young people around here. And it's going to take a great effort. We've been doing great things, actually, funding those places from existing parents, but we need to go further and faster. There are schools, in the north of England who've been doing this for a long, long time, very, very seriously. They're not better schools than we are at all. They don't have a more loyal alumni base, but they've started earlier and they've generated a lot of momentum. And this is really what this evening's about. It's about really kick-starting this and doing it seriously. And actually, you say we're a competitive bunch. We can outperform them, but we need to. Because as you say, everyone knows that there are very, Hull has its issues, has its areas of real deprivation, but there are very, very bright young people out there who would really benefit from being educated at this school, and that's what the bursary scheme is about.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that so intriguing to hear and actually really comforting and inspirational. I also want to take this in a different tack, because as a master you've clearly got visions and amazing rhetoric and what you can say about that. But I also like to know a little bit about you as a parent of 3 kids at the school as well. I mean, apart from making a really awkward parents' evening, how do you balance the fact that you are someone leading the school, but also someone who has the pastoral side of your own children here?
Well, obviously, I've got 3 teenagers. One's 15 going 16. We've got twins who are 14 now, and they prefer me to keep in the background as much as possible. I've got to say, they deal with it remarkably well. They do deal with it very, very well indeed. They've all been playing sport for the school today. That's one of the things that really makes them tick. They're not academic superstars, don't tell them that, right? They're not, though, but they are getting so much out of this wonderful school because of the pupils they mix with. And that's another really important thing about the bursary scheme, is that we have sitting in every single classroom, full fee payers sitting alongside pupils on a fully funded place. And that social mix and that diversity is absolutely key to this great school, right? It keeps us grounded, it keeps all our pupils grounded, and it's one of the things that really keeps our teachers inspired, I think, because those bursary award winners are super bright children. They're super motivated, they want to be here, and I've worked in other independent schools. Not all independent schools are like this, and so it's key that we keep that going, really.
So that brings me on to the next point about you being a teacher as well, which I think is also really important. Now, I don't know many heads that can blend the classics background you've got, your passion and will to want to perform, and artistry, a musician. Would it be fair to say you are a musician? Talented musician? Talented Rachel? Or just musician? Just musician. And also sport, and have that passion. So blending all those three, where for you do you see the sweet spot?
Well, amateur at all those things, I've got to say, right? That's kind. But actually, I think it is about balance, and a school like Heimers is all about balance, and it's about experience. What makes this a great education? It's about giving young people opportunities to experience all sorts of different things, to test out their potential in all sorts of different areas. And you're very good, very, very good at certain things, Rob, right? Most of us are pretty, okay at most things, but it's important that we try these things out, and we give things a go, and it's only by trying everything out that young people explore their potential. Hopefully I'm good at certain things, but those things you mentioned, I'm a keen amateur, no more than that.
Well, I think you're humble as well. It's one of those traits, trying to butter me up as well, so stop it. I'd be better at the clap game, and that was terrible. Big thing about this hall, and I guess for people coming back, it might take them a little bit to really take it all in, but it's just the presence of the glaring portraits on the wall as well. Incredible, and I'm lucky enough to be third generation. Both my father, grandfather had their tenure here. At the impact of each of these heads, some better than others. What for you is your vision when you see the impact these other gentlemen have had?
Well, obviously, I'm very aware of the responsibility that comes with leading a school like Heimers. And yes, you're aware of the history and the tradition, and you're aware that you're standing on the shoulders of giants like Mr. Morris there and Mr. Elson, after him. And, there's a real responsibility there. The vision for Heimers, well, all-round excellence with an academic thread. So much of what we have done in the past has been absolutely spot on, and of course, we need to adjust to the world around us and incrementally change. But the core of what Heimers has always been is integral to my vision going forward. Really, yes, of course, we've got exciting projects ahead. So, within a year, all our students in the senior school will have a digital device, in their hands that they'll be doing a lot of their work on. So we've been working on our IT strategy. Yes, we've got capital developments in place. Steve Walmsley's always bending my ear about the different sports projects he wants to get up and running, and some of those we take seriously. Actually, I've got to say. But whether or not it's the design and technology extension that we want to move on, or outdoor play spaces. Yes, we've got capital projects in mind as well. But the core of what Heimers has always been, getting the best out of every individual pupil through really strong pastoral care, high academic standards, rich extracurricular opportunities. Those are things, going forward, we need to maintain. And if we've learned anything about education in the last 18 months, it's that, yes, of course, you can teach maths online, and yeah, you can teach languages online, but good schools are much, much more than just about that. And what pupils really need is the contact with their peers in aspirational environment, an inclusive environment, and it's the relationships within a school that make a school a great school, I think. So the core of what Heimers has always been, we need to maintain going forward. Yes, we'll adjust to the world around us, because we've got a responsibility to make sure that our pupils are prepared to the world that they're about to enter. Okay, not our past, not the world we entered when we left school and university, but much of what has been in Heimers will undoubtedly power us through going forward. And being an agent of social mobility is something that Heimers has always been and is really important going forward, and that's where the bursaries come in.
And that leads me on to, I guess, on behalf of everyone here, not only to thank you for your time, words and presence, but also how can we, as Old Heimerians, help? Because that's undoubtedly what everybody wants to do. How can we do so?
Well, many of you have been very generous with your time in recent months actually, it's been fantastic how our pupils have benefited from Old Hymerians doing Zoom assemblies, talking to the Languages Society at lunchtime, talking to MedSoc, talking to our aspirant lawyers. That is wonderful, and please, please maintain that. And when you feel in a position where you can donate some money towards the bursary fund, we'd very, very much appreciate it. Please do talk to Emily about whatever you can give. As Emily made the point earlier, a little bit from everyone takes us a long way forward. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Well, thank you for your words. Justin, been a pleasure to chat to you. Thank you very much.